Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Joffrey Noodle Legs here today, and today we've got another Noodle film review. Today we're looking at a horror film, um, quite a popular one. It's been out recent few years and it seemed to be quite a popular one. We're looking at Hereditary. Now I've seen this a few times now, but I thought I would watch it last night and give it another review. So this edition is just normal Blu-ray under the entertainment for video company. Now they tend to do mostly budget sort of movies and stuff like that. So, but it is just a standard normal Blu-ray. So that's cool. But we'll go straight into the synopsis. And the film sort of starts off looking at a sort of arty room full of like little miniature sort of miniature sets being built. So I believe this is the mother of the family. She, that's her sort of job. She builds like miniature sets of things that she's seen that's in her mind, sort of thing, I think. And she sort of like maybe does books or whatever, or photographs of them. But that's her. This is her room. So we've had a little look at the room, and then we get a close up at one of the rooms, and then it kind of cleverly turns into like a real sort of like scene where we first of all meet the son and the father of the family.
Come on, Peter. Wake up. Peter, wake up. There's your suit. You know if your sister slept in her room last night? Come on, Peter, get up.
So there's the father and the son. He's waking him, getting up. Obviously, the father's played by Gabrielle Byrne, who's fantastic in the film, to be honest. He's brilliant. And then we meet him going outside to his car, and sitting in the other car outside is the mother of the family, who's played by, what's her name? Is it Toni Collette? But anyway, she's sitting in the other car outside.
Oh, Charlie, for God's sake, come on. It was freezing last night. That's how you get pneumonia.
That's okay.
Okay, come on, let's go. We're late. Your mother's in the car already.
So as you can see, he goes up to the they've got like a tree house. I must say that they've got the best house in the world. It's just fantastic. It's a beautiful location in this woodland, and the house is beautiful, and it's even got like a sort of like tree house, which is better than most people's houses. So anyway, she's asleep up there in that tree house, and he wakes her up and gets her ready to leave, because they're going out, because it's the mother of the mother's funeral day, so that they're going to the funeral of her mother's. So we then cut to them at the sort of like service.
Strange new faces here today. I know my mom would be very touched and probably a little suspicious to see this turn up. So, my mother was a very secretive and private woman. She had private rituals, private friends, private anxieties. It honestly feels like a betrayal just to be standing here talking about her.
So she's going through this sort of speech about her mother, and you sort of pick up that there's some sort of like maybe a little bit of a relationship breakdown between the pair of them, because as the sort of speech goes on, she sort of talks about her mum being stubborn and all this sort of thing, and all this kind of thing. And while she's doing the speech, the young daughter is sort of like looking at the dead body of her grandmother.
And God forbid you try to confront that. But when her life was unpolluted, she could be the sweetest, warmest, most loving person in the world. She was also incredibly stubborn, which maybe explains me. You could always count on her to always have an answer. And if she ever was mistaken, well, that was your opinion, and you were wrong.
So anyway, the funeral goes ahead, and except we don't see too much. We just see that bit, and then after the funeral, we cut back to the family returning back to that beautiful house of theirs.
Hello, Lexi. God, Doug. Shoes off, everybody. Charlie, shoes off.
And as soon as they're back, the mother of the family, Tony Collette, she goes back to her room and starts working on more of these little miniature statue things that she builds.
Hey, how's it going?
Just working. Taking a break from the morning show.
Oh, you still toiling away at the hospice?
Yeah, between this and the preschool.
So what's our deadline now? 7 months?
6.5.
Ooh, coming up.
So we get a lot of sort of like bits about the family, getting to know the family, because I think the director wants you to sort of like every member of the family, sort of thing, to understand, you know, that they're just a sort of a normal family that's been sort of cursed. The curse will come out as the film goes on. So then we catch back up with the mother speaking to the little girl in her bed.
It's Grandma? You know you were her favorite, right? Even when you were a little baby, she wouldn't let me feed you because she needed to feed you. She was like crazy.
She wanted me to be a boy.
You know, I was a tomboy when I was growing up. I hated dresses and dolls and pink.
Who's gonna take care of me?
After then, we come to a bit of a creepy scene when the mother goes to the boxes of her mum's stuff and starts going through it all, and sees sort of some stuff in there she didn't really sort of like know about her mother, and it gets she gets a bit of a creepy sort of scare. So yeah, that was a bit freaking creepy, wasn't it? Really, yeah. So she's seen this sort of ghost thing of her mother. So this is going to give you the sort of direction where this sort of film sort of direction sort of takes. It's obviously a lot of it's about Toni Collette, who's sort of like seeing. Am I getting her name right? Let me double check on the box. Toni Collette, yeah, what it was. She was in The Sixth Sense. Yeah, so a lot of the stories based upon her sort of like seeing this sort of having these sort of spiritual experiences with her mother. So a lot of the stories about that. Anyway, so she's a bit freaked out by it. So she has one more look around the room. We then cut to, I believe, to be the next day, and the young lad, who's really cool in the film, by the way, and the young girl, she's really cool as well. They're at school. They're at school.
Are you done?
Almost.
So maybe we finish the toy after the quiz. What do you think?
Okay.
Okay.
So, if we go by the rule that the hero is undone by his fatal flaw.
So that was quite freaky, wasn't it? I mean, did she cause that? You need to know that. Did she cause that bird to sort of like bash into the window and freak everyone out? Anyway, we then cut to the lad in his class.
About which part?
I think it's more tragic because if it's all just inevitable, then that means that the characters had no hope. They never had hope because they're all just like hopeless. They're all like pawns in this horrible, hopeless machine.
We then cut back to Toni Collette, the mother, back at the house, and she's gone into her mother's old room because I think the mother got ill and she moved in with them, sort of thing. Anyway, and she sees some sort of like weird stuff on the floor.
Did you go to my mom's room?
No.
The door was open. Sorry, I know it's irrational.
No problem.
Thank you.
Hey, Dad. It's a cemetery.
About what?
Let me see. Hello? Yes. What does that mean?
So yeah, it's quite strange. So some almost witchcrafty, or sort of devil worshipy sort of thing going on there, because there's like that sort of triangle, which is part of like ceremonies and sort of like incantations. They use things like these big triangles or pentangles and stuff like that. So she's seen that on the floor, so that sort of freaked her out. We then cut a little bit later into the film where the son's talking to the mother who's working in her room, asking if he could borrow a car to go to a party.
Oh, just like a school barbecue thing?
Oh, so you're not eating with us?
No, I'm still gonna eat here.
Well, you can either if you want to just
No,
turn
no,
it
no,
off.
no. I'm gonna eat here. I just be going to hang out.
No drinking?
We're not even old enough to get drinks if we wanted to.
Well, that's a crock. I'm just asking if you're drinking.
Well, it just answered no.
You gonna take your sister?
Does she want to go?
Have you asked her?
So she's quite happy for him to go as long as he takes his sister with him. I think she's just trying to do it to make sure he doesn't get drunk or drink or anything. So that's quite cool. So he says, yeah, fine, she can come. And then we cut to the young girl who's outside having her own sort of weird visions.
Charlie! I mean, what are you doing? Leaving the house barefoot. You some kind of idiot. You can't roam around with no shoes and no coat.
I want Grandma.
Oh, what? You're angry with me now? You're going to this... Hey, socks off. You're going to this party with your brother.
But so the young girl is going to go with the lad to the party. So off they go in the car, and we join them in the car journey. And the young girl's making this sort of strange noise, like a sort of clicking noise, like a, which becomes quite important later on in the film. So at the party, the young lad tries to hook up with that girl that he sees, and you see him in the classroom that he likes, and he says, oh, he's got this weed, and they decide to go and sort of use this bong thing, and I don't know, never done stuff like that, so I don't know what they're doing, but he wants the young girl to stay downstairs, so he says, oh, look, there's chocolate cake, go over there and help yourself to it, and so she goes over to that and starts eating the cake.
That was your sister downstairs?
Yeah, Charlie.
Is your sister hot?
I actually saw her drawing me last week.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. She made me look retarded.
Yeah, that's Charlie.
So I must point out at this point that the young girl's got a nut allergy. Okay, so so she's got a nut allergy in this cake. As you saw, that girl was cutting up nuts, and so I think nuts are inside this cake, and she's having a reaction. So she goes up to see her brother.
Are you okay?
It's hard to breathe.
What do you mean?
I think my throat's getting bigger.
So she's struggling to breathe straight away. So the boys picked up on that. So he runs out with her, carries her out to the car, puts her in the car, and they start off to rush to the hospital. And as they're going on and on to the hospital, her breathing's becoming more and more difficult.
It's okay, Charlie. We're almost to the hospital, okay?
So as she gets really difficult to breathe, she opens a window and sticks her sort of like head out the window just to get some air, because maybe the fast movement of the car, the air might go through and help her breathe. Anyway, that's her natural reaction to do that. Anyway, the lad's driving really fast, like 90 miles an hour, and he swerves to miss something in the road, and then the girl collides with a pole and loses her head. And that's all I'm going to tell you. All right, that's all the synopsis I'm going to give you of the film, because the film then takes another sort of demented, twisted sort of ride, because now we've got another dead person in the family, which affects the mother really bad. And then there's another woman comes into the film called Joan, and I'm not going to tell you too much about her. Watch it to find out. So, how the family going to react? How they're going to react to know that that's dead? And are they going to blame the lad for his? Is it his fault? I mean, he was doing his best trying to take. Yeah, he left her at the party. That was his fault, but he wasn't to know, was he? And he did everything he possibly could to take her to the hospital. But unfortunately, she stuck her head out the window. So it's a difficult. It's a horrible accident. It's a horrible. And who's to blame? Don't know. Find it and watch out. Watch the film. What do I think of the film? It's a great film. It's a really, really cool, creepy, scary film. It's really, really cool. It is quite long. It's it's over 2 hours, and it is a bit of a slow burn, because it's more based on character. It's like a family drama. All the family got their own little problems and stuff like that, and it's like a little family drama that's got these horrible happenings happening within it. And like I said, at the beginning, they're grieving over the loss of the mum's mother, and now they're grieving over the daughter. And there's a little bit of like blame, like the mother sort of blames the boy a little bit for it, although it's not his fault. You have to watch that and find out. The pluses of the film: it looks great. It's a great looking film, beautiful. The house is stunning. The twists and turns are really, really cool. There's some quite cool effects in there, and I love the sort of that sort of witchcrafty feel to the film. That tends to come out later in the film. I absolutely love that. Gabrielle Byrne is fantastic in the film, and so is the lad and the girl, and Toni Collette's cool. But that takes me to the negative. The negative is Toni Collette a little bit, because she really overacts, and sometimes her overacting takes you out of the story a little bit, because you're like, oh, why, there's acting and there's overacting, right? Yes, she's in her mind's in the wrong place, and she's playing the role right, but she's overacting it, and I'm just thinking, oh, just tame that acting down slightly and have overacting moments, if you know what I mean, because then that makes it more sort of look real and more believable. But when you're overacting throughout the whole film, it takes it out of it a little bit, which is a real shame, because the film is great, and she's a great actress, and she plays the part really well, just overacts it. That's the only real negative for the film. And the ending is really, really cool, which I'm not going to say. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's got a great twist. So expect to see this in a top 10 that's going to be coming out. I'm doing a top 10 soon of horror movies with good twists, so wait to see if that's in there. Yeah, great film. So I'm going to score the film now. I'm going to score it a great watch and give it a 7 out of 10. It would have probably got an 8, possibly a 9 if it wasn't really overacted. It just took me out of the story a little bit, and I found myself watching her overacting more than what she's trying to explain. Like, there's one bit in the film when she's wanting Gabrielle Byrne to throw this book on the fire, and she really overacts it, and it's just like, oh, just ask him, and if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it. But it's just like really overacted, you know, and I just think, you know, it just takes you out of it a little bit. But that doesn't spoil the film being a great movie. It just takes you out of that sort of situation a bit. Just makes it a little bit unreal, sense of unrealism. But Tony Collette near the end, she becomes awesome. Really, really cool. Great film. 7 out of 10. Hereditary. Any of you guys seen it? What do you think of it? Let me know down below what you thought of it. I thought it was really, really cool. And you probably thought it was quite a low score for that film. No, I don't think it is. I do think the film is a little bit overrated. You know, a lot of people saying it's one of the scariest films I've ever seen. I think I had one jump scare in the whole film. The rest was all predictable. The ending isn't, but that's really, really cool. But yeah, it's a really, really good film, and I think 7 out of 10 for me is a fair score. Guys, go and check out some more horror channels before my next video. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, I Am the Ice Lord, Pizzlewell, and of course Seraph Horror. All amazing channels. Until next time, guys, you look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.